Hi, Gregor here with another side quest on my Let's Play solo series. In this side quest, I'm going to continue talking a little bit about how to make your own encounter tables. So in the first video, we talked about how to use CR and number of party members you have to kind of calculate what the CR should be facing your party and what the number should be. In this one, I'm going to actually try to help you translate this into building a real encounter table in Fantasy Grounds. So first, one of the very first things you want to do when you're playing as either a game master or solo player is you want to go through and find the monsters that you want to use. This is my personal list. And so I went through all the CR zeros that I have available to me, and these are the handful that I think are combat ready. And then I did the same thing for the CR 1/8 and the CR 1/4. Now everybody's a little different, so your pool should be different. This is my monster pool. These are the ones that I'll build encounters out of, either random or in a normal game with players. Okay, so once we got our pool, and from the first video, we know about how many should show up. Then what do we do next? Well, we build a table. And Fantasy Grounds has a good import feature. Usually when I'm building my encounter tables, I do them in Excel, but you can use Google Sheets as well. Because Fantasy Grounds will take in formatted input. In this case, this used to be called comma separated data, but I'm using semicolon separated. Excuse me. And so the information is all separated by semicolons. So let's go ahead and demonstrate how this will work. So I'm going to just create a table and import this stuff. So first we select what we want. And if you have group 2, notice you got to get all of them. And even if you do have a second column, you still, even where they don't have blanks, you still need to put those semicolons in. All right, so I'll copy them, Control C, and then I'll open up a table. And then at the very bottom, there's an import text. And we'll call this import example for PC. All right. And so I'll just bring them in. Now, once you bring them in, there's a few settings down here. It's delimited, which means it's separated by those semicolons. And then you need to tell it what it is. Semicolon. Now, I've imported it before, so it remembers, but you may find it's on comma or something else. Then columns headers in the first row, and that just means do I have the roles and the group headers up there. I'll show you when we get a little bit further. Just check that whether you do or don't. And finally, table ranges in the first column. Mine I set up that way. It's a D6 plus a D10. But notice when we import, there's going to be a little issue. So here's our import. And one of the things you're going to notice is it didn't come in as a D6 and a D10. Fantasy Grounds doesn't do mismatched dice on the import, so you do have to fix that. So there's my D6 plus D10. In order did you drop it in, doesn't matter. And this is my encounter table. So if I roll this, it's set to output to chat. Oh, and I have manual dice rolling on, so that's fine. And there it goes. So I got double zeros because let me turn off that because I didn't input anything in the manual dice roll. Oops, there we go. Manual dice rolling is very good for testing, and I'll actually turn it back on in a second. So let's go ahead and do this. And there we go. This time we got, what it's telling you is I have a blank group 2, and I got 4 cultists. So I rolled a 9, and I could have gotten 1d3 plus 2. In this case, I ended up with 4, which means I rolled a 2 on the d3 plus 2 and ended up with 4 cultists. All right, so far so good, and I'm going to do it one more time with the 5-man one just so you can walk you through one more time. So once again, we go to our table, and this is the 5 PC one. You copy, Control C. Then we'll import. It's in the tables down at the very bottom. Import text. This will be import example 5 PC. And we'll paste it. And notice how once again, it remembered everything. So we'll just do it. Sometimes you'll have a typo or maybe you forget a comma or something. So you should really open it up and take a look at it. But in this case, it should be very similar to the other one. All right. Once again, notice how it did the D15. So now it doesn't matter which order you put the D10 and the D6 in there. So once again, we should be good with manual roll off. It should roll right away. And I got 5 Lemures. So we rolled a 5, and there it is. D3 plus 3, so I rolled another 2. It's rolling very average on D3s. That is how you get the outside data in from a spreadsheet, or of course you could do it any way you want. The spreadsheets are easier though. So what's the next step? Because we can raise this up. The next step is to actually open your monster manual and make links to those monsters. So if I open up, if you're really using the SRD, which is what these encounters are from, you would open that. Now I'm not going to use the SRD because I have my own monster table with consistent tokens and images, so I'd rather do that. So in this case, what you do is you look up my Acolyte, and all you have to do, and it doesn't matter whether it's locked or not, is you drag the Acolyte right over to here, and in a 2-column where this one has Acolyte with some cultists, then you would also, here, let me do both of them at once. Let's look up the cultists. So we got the vanilla cultists and cultists. And what this gives me is when this 2 gets rolled, it will output it to chat. So let's do that. I'm going to go right back to manual roll and cheat so I can get basically snake eyes. So options, manual entry, we'll turn it back on. We'll click this one. And so I want a 1 and a 1 to get the 2. And notice it sent it right to chat like it's supposed to. And then it links me right to the Acolyte and right to the cultists. And it's rolled the number of cultists. So I could literally drag and drop this in 3 times and this one in twice. But it gets even better. Instead of having to manually do it, you can have your tables do it automatically, and all you have to do, once you got them linked, is change the output to encounter, and I'm clicking it. It's ENC, so chat, then click, story, click, parcel, click, encounter. Now if I roll them with manual entry, and I'll do this one, I'm going to do 1 and 1 again. And this time, instead of putting it tells me what happened, that I rolled snake eyes, but notice that it actually generated an Acolyte and 1 cultist. So it actually rolled the D3. Now I can just push this right into add to the combat tracker. And that's basically how you do it. So let me just pause the video. And you can see here, I've come back and I've got all the links. And now when I roll, I can immediately generate a bunch of encounters, either on the fly or if I want to pre-populate the dungeon. And that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. This is super handy because it makes it much faster to roll and set up your encounters. I'll see you guys in the next video.